Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you have the power to pick up your telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending, any topical issue of the day. We speak about it, and you can give us a call. You can introduce your own topic, because that's an important factor. Sometimes people say, why don't you speak about that? I say, why don't you introduce what you would like us to speak about? We express our views and opinion on politics. We like politics. We doesn't back down from Grenada politics. Once we're comfortable with the topic, once we are comfortable with the topic, we would express our opinions and views. If we have new information, we change in your opinion. We believe that we must stick to the truth as much as possible. And when we make mistakes, we must be ready and prepared to correct it and stick with the truth. This country is a beautiful country. We have a lot good going for us. We must always remember that. Sometimes we get tied up in the politics, criticizing everything cut blank. But that ought not to be. I don't want to see the opposition now taking the same role as the NDC when they was in opposition and just criticizing everything. And you might ask, what good is going for us in Grenada? Well, electricity, telephone, water, and internet, 90% of our people have access to that service. Better than most countries in the Caribbean. We have one of the best network of roads. And the quality of the roads is relatively good when you compare it with the rest of the countries. You know, our crime rate is not as high as the rest of the Caribbean. Grenada have the most landowners, and it gives a sense of proprietorship. And that's why it's one of the uphill battles the revolution had to take on. Because the revolution, like the proletariats in its mass, because of mass organization, they could mobilize you. When a man is a proprietor, he have his business, and he feels he would live on zero option. Our teacher-to-children ratio is better in Grenada than most countries in the world. We have a freedom of the press. And with the technology available, it's not easy to silence anybody. You know? So we have a lot good going for us. We batter. I always believe that we batter the health system unjustifiably. We are a small country, 110,000 people, 100,000 people. So we must do the comparison within the confines of the other countries with similar population and similar economic situation like us. Can't compare to America and Germany and Venezuela and etc. You know? And as a result of that, there are a lot of people benefiting from we crying down the health system. A lot of private doctors. When you go to facilities and some of the things they offer is remarkable. But they don't mind you saying the health system bad, so you go to private doctors. We must manage the system better. I don't agree with the government building teaching hospital. We don't need no teaching hospital. What we need is modern facilities, well-staffed. I don't care if you build a new structure. I don't care if you build it in OEO. But when you say teaching hospital, what you mean by that? St. George's University is the #1 medical facility supplying medical doctors to the United States of America. So once they're in the final stage, they want to go in American hospitals and do the internship, because that's where they like to get the boy. So what you want Grenada as a guinea pig then? So the government have it wrong. And we mustn't afraid to ask questions, logics, and reason. There are no certificate. You don't have to go to university and have certificate to be logical, you know, to think. If you don't feel it working, perhaps it's not working. Always take the benefit of the doubt. If you did not understand what somebody said, that means the person did not explain. If you don't understand the workability, like what Morris Bishop used to say, if you don't understand the workability, you don't understand. Things must be made practical, and you must see it, and I think that's important. So we have a lot good going for us. So when we bash in this country, we must know why we bash. And we don't have to be afraid to be critical, particularly if we could come up with suggestions. So every time we have a discussion, whether it's in our home, whether it's in the rum shop, in the community, what is the way forward? Now that we talk and talk and talk, what are the suggestions? So now, while I wait your call, I'll go to the Ministry of Agriculture. 9 months is a long time for any government. If a government have about 4 or 5 years in power, our democracy in Grenada has been so dynamic that government don't go down the complete length of time. 4 years now, I guess it's the American influence, they call in election, 4 years, 4.5 years. So after 9 months, 1 year, you're supposed to know what direction your government going. You're supposed to see that the government start to go in the direction they want to go. Government today is not like yesteryear. Communication is easier. Some of our institutions are stronger. We have much more educated people or certificated people in our country. So after 1 year, you must know exactly where your government going. And sometimes people say, don't criticize the government. On fundamental issues, you must criticize the government. There are some issues from day one. When the government open their mouth, you know they're wrong. For the last 9 months, I've been petting the subject matter of restorative justice because I did not understand it. I didn't understand the workability. I didn't understand the practicality on the ground. But now that I've seen how the government intend to implement restorative justice, I take the strongest objection. I believe the time has come for the trade union to tell our people, what do you understand by the government restorative justice in its political content? What do you mean by that? Does all the members of the NDC executive hierarchy, the top echelons, do they know what restorative justice in its political implication means? You see, Grenada mustn't plead the fifth. They mustn't say we don't know. We had a long history, and we're supposed to know. After the revolution, Grenadians did not call for restorative justice. They said they want reconciliation. They want forgiveness. They want working together. We set up the Truth and Reconciliation Committee, and there was some measure of success. And more, you saw people were willing to come and work together. And the government then, the Bonnet Code fraction then, they gave their perspective on why the revolution took the direction. They say lack of institutional knowledge. They plead ignorance. They didn't know. They said youthful exuberance. And they said arrogance. So people forgave them. People said, let's work together, irrespective of what. So if a government come today talking about political restorative justice, the government is wrong. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, everything. How's the weekend? Yeah. Mr. Pierre, the purpose of any government is to give the people information, the right information that could help educate the people of Great Caribbean and Peter. And when you have a government don't want to let the people that they govern know the truth and hiding the truth from them, how could you say that you're concerned about the grade and want the grade people know and want grade people to work together. But if you be transparent and accountability, anything that happens in a country, you supposed to let people know. Let what's going on. And don't hide things from them. When they get into and they speak about the ills that is taking place, you are against them. They feel like they're against the government. Well, see, if you hide anything from them and things that they got, this why my tell are not true, they're going to believe believe what they hear. So a government duty is to inform the people and let people know what they want. Because knowledge is power. And then how would you gain knowledge if you don't know our country, if you don't know? And who should impact in that knowledge? They hide in the truth. They hide in the truth. Mr. P, I want to speak about health again. Being a big home, you have a small home, and you cannot manage your home. You don't have water. You don't have a proper toilet in your home. Right? And you still have the same mentality. And you go and build a new home with the same mentality. That will not improve the home here. Right? So make sure you can have a small home, but once you properly manage, equip the home and put everything in place, that home could be a happy home. Because like you're in a business. If you're in a business up here and your customer coming, you don't have toilet, you don't have water, anything, I don't think anybody going to pass you that business for you to operate. You must have that you have things. Right? So no matter how small your business is, but you want to have the proper facilities and you have to get a license to run in place, you're going to run it. So you think is managing what you have and putting the facilities in place. So when people come for attendance, they have to get building a new hospital with the same attitude, it will not make a difference. And yes, I agree, healthcare need to improve. It need to improve. And how it could improve? By improving people, equipping them, letting them know what is going on. And when things happen and they don't know, and somebody asks them, what about the hospital? What about the country? They don't know because information is hidden from the greater people. So it is important for we to know what is happening. And so now when things happening and we getting it from someone else, we believe it. Some people feel like we shouldn't have. But when people speak, it's speaking to run down the judicial country. It's speaking for whosoever in charge to do better and to go the right way. That's my
Thank you, Color. Color, sometimes the government don't want you to know what they're doing, you know. Sometimes it's in the interest of the government not to know, not to make you know. Because the government will be taking some very unpopular decision and they don't want you to know. Or they don't want mass of people to know. And the National Democratic Congress have a history. They have a history of not seeking the interests of the people in the lower income group, in the ordinary man. So obviously they would not want you to know some of the decisions they're making because they're going to object against it. One of the decisions is the sale of the electricity company. Grenadians ought to know that they should not sell the electricity company. Controlling shares should remain in the government hand. The war if nothing before teaches them that the war in Europe today that is deteriorating between Ukraine and Russia should convince every Caribbean leader that they should do everything in their power to control the majority shares in electricity company and Nawasa. But that ought to be concerned about Grenadians because the National Democratic Congress have a history of selling assets. Every time they government, they go and sell assets. So it's part of their philosophy, you know, and people should be able to discuss that and try to lobby the government to tarry slow. Do not squander the assets of government. Sometimes government behave like the addict, as if they're on coke. During the 1990, the 2090, 2013 period, the government sold 13 pieces of Grenadian assets. They sold property that did not belong to them. And they sold shares they did not have the legal authority to sell. If government was an individual, the government would be in jail. You see the actions again, and I mentioned agriculture when I started, so I'll go to it. Over 9 months, the time has come for the Minister of Agriculture to meet with the source of exporters. It's not much of them, maybe 8, 9, 10 of them. The Minister of Agriculture should have a meeting with the source of exporters. They've been making an attempt to meet him since the government come. He's avoiding them. But worse still, the Ministry of Agriculture is sabotaging the source of industry. And it's heartbreaking. So the minister should meet with the source of exporters. And farmers, you who grow in source up, is of concern to you. Because the government is walking away from you. The government is sabotaging the industry. We have a disease called scaly insect, snow scale, croton scale. I don't know what other name you could call it. It affects a number of things, not only soursop, mango, sugar apple, croton plants, a number of other plants this disease affects. But the government closed down the pest management unit. I think the croton scale disease was identified in Grenada somewhere in 2020. I believe in the month of October. And the government set up a team to go around. They move quickly, expeditiously. The NDC going to say expeditiously to send out a team to go and help manage it. Remember when we had mealybug infestation? Well, this insect is somewhere on the scale of mealybug. But we have some experience in dealing with it. So they go around, sometimes they cut and burn, because it also affects the croton flowers plant. And the government suspend the management. I don't think the government is stupid. I wouldn't say they're dumb. I know they're not dumb. So it must be that they have a sinister plan for doing that. It must be that they're sabotaging the industry. The question is why? Farmers, you need to start to ask questions. If the government claims they cannot pay, then it is in the farmers' interest to join with the exporters and pay for the management of your crop. And pay for the management of your crop. Some farmers, when they were dealing with banana and cocoa, they used to pay if they find the team wasn't coming regular enough. So the time has come, you cannot let that disease overrun the industry. Because the disease affects mango, soursop, and other crops, if you don't manage it, it could get out of hand. And months now, the government suspended the team. And the Minister of Agriculture is not meeting with the source of exporters. So I want to beg the minister and the chief technical officer in agriculture and the permanent secretary that this is important to find out what is the problem the government have. Why is it they suspend the management of this in source up? Nobody doing anything. Because you do that, the cotton scale insect could get out of hand. It doesn't affect sauersup alone. It affects mango also, and sugar apple, and cotton, the flowers. So he could embed himself in the country in other hosts very easily. So I believe that the Ministry of Agriculture must stop talk. We see the big kind of show, the show you made about planting spice. Everybody knows a show. No, you must put the same energy in managing the sauersup industry. Or tell us why is it that you cancel the management of the sauersup. And I know we have farmers outside there that will be affected, not because you may be a strong NDC. When this disease affects the neighbor's crop, it's going to affect your crop. So I want to encourage you to call on the Ministry of Agriculture to meet with the source of exporters and make certain that you continue the man. If the ministry said they don't have money, the farmers and the source of exporters prepare to bear the cost. You cannot afford for the industry to be sabotaged. It could well be the government want to put the export of sauersup into the hand of one person. They want to put it in the hand of one person. So that when the sauersup industry is destroyed, you will lose your interest. Grenada is the only country in the region that could export fresh sauersup to the U.S. market. We can't satisfy the market. The market brought in more than $10 million US last year. Much more than that. And you cannot satisfy the market. So why is it the government seems to be deliberately sabotaging the sauersup industry? It's difficult to understand. The cocoa industry is already in so much challenges. I don't think the members of the board and the government is bothering too much about it. This thing has been with us so long. The problems have been so chronic that I don't think they're bothering about it. But the government should not destroy the sauersup. That is what they're doing. The people who are involved in sauersup management, the government fired. I don't know if Grandma Estate have sauersup. If the estate have sauersup, I know somebody picking it. Because the government fired the workers on Grandma Estate. Over 30 workers. The government get rid of them. And that is the government that claim they like agriculture the most. Sometimes in my discourse in the rum shop, I always say the NDC is the worst government that passed where agriculture is concerned. And I advance arguments why. As I say to people, you must look to the historicity of things. You know, I always advance reason why I believe the government, the NDC government, has done more damage to agriculture than any other government in the history in the last 100 years. The propaganda machine has always been good. So you make them look good. You know they cut down Belvedere and plant banana. After banana failing, they cut down Belvedere nutmeg. And then they say they want to plant organic banana. And they plow up by the lake. And say they're planting banana for Salisbury. Well, that project don't reach as far as Williamson Fire. The government have an opportunity now to improve the source of market. We could bring about $30 million into the Grenada economy in the next 2-3 years. If we manage the source of industry correctly. But as it is, it seems to me that the Ministry of Agriculture is delaying sabotaging the industry. That's why you refuse to meet with the source of growers. Why is it you fire the pest management unit that is helping to reduce and manage the cotton scale industry? Tell us why. And you can give me a call. The number to call is 442-0175. There are aspects of agriculture that we could improve significantly in Grenada. You don't have to reinvent the wheel in Grenada. You have cocoa, nutmeg, sauersup, and fish. You could work with these areas, and they would have ideas how to improve it. You have the flowers industry that you can invest in, because we import a lot of artificial flowers. So we can encourage people to grow flowers, and we can invest in the local market. And Grenada could grow a lot of the flowers that we are using and consuming. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. How you do?
Great, man.
Yeah, can you talk about some more current?
You could introduce your own topic.
And the Prime Minister.
Always,
the Prime Minister.
Caller. You could introduce anyone.
Yes, sir. Could you just talk about something more current, like what's going on right now with the former Minister of Northwest Representative and the Prime Minister right now, the issue?
What you want me to talk about?
We want some more enlightenment.
You want my opinion on it?
Certainly.
Then ask for that.
Well, let me hear your opinion, sir.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I believe that the NNP party is an inclusive party. Very inclusive. And if that, yes, every political party have its contentious point and its stress point. And the issue that's going on between Delma Thomas and NNP or Kit Mitchell or whoever, I think this matter is more out of proportion. The NNP is a very inclusive party, a very pliable party, a party with a capacity to welcome anyone in the house. Black Wizard say NNP is a mentality. He said even inside NDC, you have NNP. So I think what needs to happen now, NNP must open their arms wider and make certain the parliamentary representative, Delma Thomas, knows that she's welcome among them. She makes from the same mold that the NNP people are made. The same mold. She is not an aberrant parasite. The NDC is not a welcoming party. It's a vicious, virtuous party that will prey on the weak. So I believe what should happen now, Delma should tone down a bit from social media. Tone down a bit from social media, and the NNP must open their arm wide and welcome the loving sister. Ensure that she's welcome. In politics, you have to be careful. You could be in the right church, but the wrong pew. In the NNP, Delma is in the right church and the right pew. For instance, even the sister she is collaborating with, I understand that. She and the sister make from the same mold. Both of them should be NNP. Gloria Thomas might be in the right church but the wrong pew. So the sister Delma have to understand that, and they have to tone down. Sometimes when you go to here, particularly if you don't understand it well, you could only look for more problems. So she needs to tone down. There is nothing, I've listened to what she said, and I see it only as miscommunication. There is nothing to worry about it. She must know that she is always welcome in the arms of the NNP. And NNP must open the arms wider and welcome their sister. That's my view on it. I don't see anything that is made that is cause for concern. But you will always have differences in the House. The National Democratic Congress have always had the history of being a vulture when they come in power on the weak and the unsuspecting. Take, for instance, in 1990, the NDC fired the estate workers. During that time, they fired Shati. In 2008, the NDC fired Imani. And although they promised to give them $1,000, they did not do that. They used the elderly, an elderly man from St. Patrick's, to advertise, to get the elderly to vote them. And when they reach in power, they never give the elderly the money. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day.
Yes, caller, welcome. Yeah. Go right ahead, caller, welcome. Caller, speak a little louder, close to your phone, and go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, Keith Mitchell is the most wickedest man I ever passed on this. Mr. Pierre, can you imagine the parliamentary office in this country? They offer the opposition MP $2,000 in raising the salary. Keith Mitchell tell them don't take it.
I think he's right. I agree with him, caller. On moral grounds. Caller, I agree with him. Caller.
Morality can't put food in the pot.
That is the problem. Caller, that's... On moral grounds, they should not touch it. Because you see, they should not touch it, caller. It's like saying, no, they shouldn't touch it. And that's where wisdom comes. That's where age comes. That's where maturity comes. The NDC offer the opposition the money to legitimize the NDC greediness. They couldn't take it without offering the opposition. So they do it to rubber stamp the process. And Keith Mitchell has been in town long. So you can't touch this money. It's like you're going on the road and you get somebody money on the road and you know who the money for. But you hide and say you don't get it. The NDC cannot take $150 from the elderly. They take money from the elderly and they give themselves. That is a moral crime. So the Prime Minister and senior members of the NNP would have known that was a trick. And they were correct. It's not that Grenadians don't need no money, but you don't need money at all costs. Color is very important. That's one of the fundamental differences between the National Democratic Congress and the NNP. The senior mature members of the NNP would have known you can't touch that money. That money is like blood money. You take it out from the elderly. They cry in the street. And you cannot take it and give it to the weaker members of your party. You can't do that. And that is what the NDC offered. They know there are some people in the party that is really weak and the economic situation is bad. So they bring it as a law. And that is where the wisdom, the maturity in the party would say, no, no, no. Yes, we need, but our brothers need more. Better to take this money and give it back to the elderly. So the Prime Minister, Keith Mitchell, was correct. All the senior members in his party would have agreed with him. And Dick Mitchell, being a lawyer, he did that as a law. Color is like your children come home with a gold chain and they say they get it. You can't accept it, Color. You have to call this school. Say me that. That is a trick, Color. And the Prime Minister of Grenada was correct. And that's where wisdom and maturity come. When the National Democratic Congress took money from the elderly, the physical challenge, and the disadvantaged children, that is blight and curse. You can't touch this money. That money is like blood money. You can't touch it. The new minister, I hope and pray, the new minister, as a man who come out from poor people children too, he would give back the elderly the $150 that the NDC robbed from them with violence. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. All right, we lost that caller. Yeah, he would give. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Go ahead, caller.
you talking about blood money?
Yeah, it's blood money.
Let me tell you what is blood money.
Tell
When
me.
the Prime Minister of this country give his nephew $23 million from the coffers of this country, that
Caller,
is blood money.
caller,
How much money is
caller,
that?
caller.
The money I give them.
Caller, you hear when I'm speaking on the radio, I'm speaking loud because I could back up what I'm saying. I say, when we speak, caller,
Yeah.
when we speak on this radio station, we speaking loud because what we say, you cannot challenge it. That's why you have
Well,
to
you can't
go on the
challenge
corner. So you have to
We can't
say,
challenge-
caller, you have to say things that you know. So if you say they give their nephew X, you must know that. You understand? You have to speak better. You could say you hear, but don't say they give as if you was there. And that is not true. Yes, caller, welcome. I know that the government borrow money to go and cut down Belleville and Nutmeg. I know they sell 13 pieces of property. And they sell property that was not theirs. Yeah. We know these things, but don't say what you don't know. You see a lot of propaganda went on over the last couple of years. And that is why individuals, even on social media, hiding their face speak. When you go on Facebook, you see my name on the face. When you go on Facebook and you see an individual hiding his face and hiding his name, it means they want to lie. They cannot back up what they're saying. What they're saying may not be the truth. So they don't want to identify with what they say. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. I want to know, where is our government operating from? Is it in the diaspora or is it in Grenada, mainland Grenada? Because every week a contingent going to the United States to have talk. What happened to your local? Who put you in office? Is it diaspora or is it the local? I don't have a clue because you're not hearing nothing from them, and then they want to come and open project and come and bless this and bless that. Let these people them know. I heard news just a while ago, you know, in Russia, the opposition, one of the opposition MP in Russia, they give him 25 years in prison, you know. Tell them we ain't giving them years in prison, you know. We hanging them in St. George's Market.
No, we don't hang in, man. We have to be tolerant. No,
we
you
have to
cannot.
start it from somewhere.
And we're not in Russia, you know. Remember, we have a democratic country. We have a
I
court
know.
system. We have a peace court. We much
But you don't get results. You don't
we
get
much
results,
better
man.
than these countries. You know. If Grenada was like Russia, I couldn't be on radio. The revolution jail Tillman Thomas. 3,000 people in the revolution jail. You know.
I know more than that, man.
And when they, well, yes, I only saying 3,000 so they can challenge me. And when they come out, Grenadians say, we want reconciliation. We want peace.
Dying for Bishop Inicio. He wants how is it?
He wants restorative justice.
Restorative justice for who?
Restorative justice is political victimization.
Of course.
Yeah. We after the revolution, we say all of us is one family. We want reconciliation and peace. So Kit Mitchell set up the Truth and Reconciliation Committee.
Yes. Watch me. The only thing Grenadians afraid, the only things Grenadians are stay quiet is if a hurricane pass. A hurricane. And good morning. I think you're the best thing since sliced bread. That's what I say, hurricane.
Yeah, but you see, we always have to try to reconcile. We can't go by country because everybody is family with one another.
What about the 10,000 that I know? We less than 100,000 now. 10,000 died just the other day.
Yeah. And we're going to go after we own people. We start to attack with aunt and we sister.
Well, yes, well, that's who they attacking, you know.
Well, it's a small country.
When you fire your own brother and your sister, and those in diaspora, they didn't work for the $2 they're giving them, the $350, $450. And they didn't work for it. Then they're living on the dole in the United States of America and England. You know?
Some of them paying tax. Some living on the dole.
And how about them waste their time, man?
Yeah.
I know that, you know.
Well, all of us know that. The United States have 30-something million people living in poverty.
Of course.
Yeah, 30-something million people living in poverty.
And they're coming on radio. And talk garbage.
But they have to be informed. We have to tell them. Remember, over the years,
they can't even come here.
The NNP was too silent with providing answers and challenges for the accusation against them.
Of course.
And that's why we believe we must speak the truth as much as possible.
By the middle of this year, we're going to see a difference. Forget about them. Let them do what they have to do now. All who have their position, let them hold their position and laugh and run in America twice a month and come back.
Well, the government still have to explain to us. When you remove $150 from the elderly, why you spend over $1 million in less than a year on traveling?
Yes.
I understand when they go, some taking their boyfriend, some taking their girlfriend and go.
No, I tell you, we hanging them in the market.
No, we can't do that. You have to pray for them and forgive them.
Forgive them for the know what they're doing.
Yeah, we have to be tolerant people. We are a small country. We can't. You have to be tolerant.
The small but the taller. The small but the taller. All right, Mr. P, have a good one.
Yes, caller, thank you. Yes, you see, in Grenada, we have to encourage tolerance. We have to encourage people forgiving one another. We are one people in the community. Otherwise, we're going to break up the villages. We cannot continue with political victimization. You know, when you, after election, particularly you see a number of people losing their jobs, people want to blame one another. If I didn't lose the election, you would not have lost your job. And we tend to blame one another. But now is not the time for that. Now is the time for reconciliation, forgiveness, and tolerance. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
It's very embarrassing to hear NNP people, when they win, they go hang them in the square. Can you imagine how NNP people thinking? That is wickedness. What are people doing?
The guy who said that is an NNP?
An NNP man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're encouraging him tolerance, love, and understanding.
And the NNP, they sell Grenada property and they sell the money And nobody ain't trying
You
to...
just really make some claim, eh?
They share the money.
Colin,
And they don't, NMP, NDC was taking to hang them in the square.
Colin,
But NMP people trying to hang people in the square.
Colin,
That's to show you how wicked all is.
Colin, you remember in 2008, they say in 8 to 9 days, Scotland Yard and FBI go be in Grenada for corruption. You remember that?
Yes.
And it was not the National Democratic Congress set up a committee. They bring down a forensic expert, and they were not able to find anything worthy to even charge a man for driving without due care and attention. So that was just propaganda, Color. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the NDC was not able to charge him. Yes, Color, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, afternoon.
Yes, sir, welcome.
It does really give that caller a lot that you should have 2 hours on the program instead of 1.
Yeah.
That caller special, you can he drinking rum.
No. We don't know if you drinking rum, Color.
You know, find a drunk man.
You don't even look at it as touch rum. You look at that man that don't mellow with rum at all.
He don't even have sense. No sense he has, so that's why he could be calling you. Why he doesn't go on the other station and call?
No, but we tolerate callers.
Over and over, tolerating that nonsense, man.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Yeah. Yes, so it's an important thing for all of us to cool down a little and take a little humor and be tolerant as we discuss the issue. What we want is for betterment of the country. We want the country to improve. I'm certain that the farmers in Grenada might agree with me. Might. Because a lot of the farmers are source of growers. And if you fire the people involved in managing the source of industry, then that could be, we could sum it up as sabotaging the industry. Yes, caller, welcome. Go right ahead, caller, welcome. Yeah.
We are broad, but that last caller, I don't mind he coming on, but you have sometimes you have to know when to say that's it. That's it for you for today, because you're just giving nothing with sense. You know? It's not nice. If you want to hear the song from outside here, it's not nice. If you have something positive to say, you just come on the air and you say what's positive. But don't come up with a bunch of lies and lies and and like he's trying to fight you, whatever you say, that, and he take it as a joke because you allow it. You are allowing it. You have to tell him no. Those things and cut it off. And then he will understand. Anytime he gets on the show, he will have to say something positive, something meaningful. Okay?
Yes,
Mr. Pierre?
thank you.
I'm listening. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, so we want Grenada to move. No matter what you do, we could move. The Minister of Agriculture, I don't think the Minister of Agriculture could say I'm not genuine by begging him for meeting sources. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, Mr.
Mr. I agree with the last caller.
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, I know you is a big grown-up man.
Yeah, we try to.
We don't want to keep telling you all the time because it's just wasting time. You only have 1 hour on the program, and it's just wasting time. Just calling you and accusing you. We are the people. We must call out the government for the wrongdoing. They are in power, and we have to call them. We are the one who elected the government. The people of Grenada, whether it's NMP, NDC, they are the one who elected the government today. And we have to call them out when they're doing the wrongdoing. We cannot put up with this. The people elected you to do our job, and they come and they dismantling everything what the NMP was doing. They're going the wrong way. As you said, what's all the $150 they take from the elderly people? What's all the people who have a job? These people have a voice, and they're crying from the inside of the stomach. They're crying because when they look, they want to feed their children. Considering the prices in the shop nowadays is very high. Everything is expensive. People have children. They need to feed their children. And they're crying. They haven't got anything to give them because they once had it. The previous government put them in a job, and they had a job where they was able to look after the family. No, they can't, because why? They didn't just left the job. They expel them. They get rid of them. They get rid of these people who was providing for the family. So we are the people who put them in there. Let us call them out, call the government out for the wrongdoing. They're doing wrong things, and we cannot sit down and take it. Because when it hot one, everybody gets hot. Prices go up high, everybody affect everybody. So why can't we speak? So tell the NDC, let us speak now. When NNP was there, they had a propaganda machine outside. They was outside and they was carrying on. The propaganda machine was going high. Every minute they talking. Even when they cannot speak to you, they speak lies, lies after lies. I think Dr. Keith Mitchell was the worst person. But he isn't. Now they're finding out that it's better to be the devil you know than the devil you don't know. So right now they're with the devil. Let it go with the devil. But that's affecting us still. So we have to call out. We're calling them out for the wrongdoing. You have a nice day, Mr.
Yeah, we still have the Easter spirit in us. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon.
Yes,
Mr.
caller,
Pierre.
welcome.
I am saying, with that caller was calling 3 and 4 times and saying things what is not true, it could bring consequences to the radio station too. So, and the thing is, he don't listening. In sometimes he could say something and it's not true, cannot back up what he said, and he don't want to listen to you to explain certain things. And sometimes we entertaining that caller too much when he coming with his misleading information. The program is a 1-hour program. You come with your issue. If you can back it up, you could back it. Cannot, and you need to listen, learn, and take heed. You understand? Because we cannot go and on a vision information program and talk and talk what you don't want to hear. You understand? Once you are not speaking on the NDC agenda, you cannot go on the program. So I am saying to this, I'm not saying don't welcome him, but if he's coming with things what it is not true, we shouldn't entertain him. Okay. Once it's not true, just cut him out because you don't want to listen. Thank you.
Yes, Collector. And one of the hallmark, one of the most important point, the whole philosophy of a group of people in Grenada is tolerance, inclusiveness. You know, sometimes we don't agree with individuals, but we respect their views and opinion. A new party come in power, the National Democratic Congress came to office and they promised certain things. And obviously, the people who are affected most will always be saying, well, why you did that? Like how we asking, why did you remove $150 from the elderly and the physical challenge? And why did you disadvantage the children? Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
You know, someone will just call and make statement and they can back up what he's saying. But I go say something and back it up, eh? When you talk about wickedness, promise was made to the Grenadian people. Vote for me.
Give me about 5 of the promises.
Vote for me. I will make you permanent. Right? Then people give you the blessing. They vote for you. And
another one.
Next one, you take away. You said in a meeting before. Report from World Bank say that still.
So you give them 650.
The Imani, right?
Next one, the Imani.
The Imani again. You have again the citizen that you said you give them $1,000. You give them more money. Even the man that is speaking about it, that the promise you did not give them. You did not give them. See, a lot of promises were made to the people.
You were least too plain.
Too plain, right? You will build a road, a straight road.
You build a straight road
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
From Tongue to St. George's, right? Which you will kill, you destroy, and you deceive the people. I want to call out, ask the caller if this is something good.
If you ask the caller the question, if I might come back again. So better you ask me the question.
Yeah, ask the question. Is this something good?
No, definitely the National Democratic Congress made some wide, outrageous promises that the NNP did not challenge.
Did not challenge?
Yeah, and people buying it. It's a nice law. I mean, you're working as a Imani and they tell you they'll give you permanent. You know?
Exactly.
And they use I think it was some unacceptable.
But he was talking that like that's to him that is something good.
And then the Prime Minister said go list to plane.
List to plane.
I tell you the guy in Antigua get upset, you know. They say if these leaders are just settle this issue by December, Greenland go list to plane.
And one look at one again. You see gone up. You actually they'll pay more.
The government increased the cost of living unnecessarily.
You asking the poor people to pay more on that more goods, and then
they shock the economy.
The money that is supposed to collect from the business people, you tell them to take a
you give them a break.
That's something good.
And now you want the farmers take a break. Give a break to taxpayers. And then you want the farmers to take a cut.
I'm sorry, this is just something I say and I can't back it up. The greater people could know what I say is true.
Yeah, but we have to remind them of the facts because it's the same thing. If you don't remind them, then they say it's not true.
It's not true.
But sometimes we're taking too long to remind them.
Yeah. I read that.
Yes, thank you very much. It's an important thing, and I believe the government is hiding information. It's so easy to accuse the government of hiding information. The government must prepare to expose themselves more to ask questions. I have to beg the Minister of Agriculture to have a meeting with source of exporters. What's wrong with the minister? The minister worked in pest management unit for half of his life. For half of his life, he was involved in cocoa and nutmeg. Now you're in the third half. You have to beg him to have a meeting with source up growers. Culture man, call on the minister. Tell him you have the meeting. I don't know if you have source up. I have a couple trees. Tell him to have the meeting because he's sabotaging the source up industry. You see, the economy in the Caribbean was challenged because of the war in Europe and the after effects of COVID-19. But that was compounded by the government of Grenada attitude. They shock the economy. They deteriorate or unravel the confidence between the financial institution and the temporary and informal workers. They raise taxes on sugar. They affected the confectionery local industry. The people who making sugar cake, red mango, sweets, snow ice. The government practically putting them out of business because it's difficult for them to compare with the snacks that coming out from away. Because you raise the price of sugar by almost 100%. No, the government is not thinking. The government raised the price on water. You cut down the benefits provided for the people in the lower income group. You fire the workers and the temporary jobs that was provided to help them recover from COVID-19, you remove it. You threatening the e-money. The caregivers, the girl says she's walking on ice. It's a new term. She said walking on ice. Two of them in the red. So the government is doing a lot to create the deterioration in the economy. So people in the private sector will not be readily employed because the perception and the reality and the practicality is that the economy is deteriorating. And we're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to exchange ideas, to punch, and you can introduce your own subject matter. And if you want my opinion on any issue, particularly politics, I'm ready and willing to express them. Thank you very much.